Well, now, here we go again. I'm going on another one right about now. This is about the bubonic plague, my friends. Another fascinating, happy topic, but there's some things about it you should know. In 1400s Europe, about 1/3 of all of Europe was decimated. That means really wiped out badass by the bubonic plague. It was actually Yersinia pestis, or pestis actually, but it was a bacterium that found its way onto the backs of fleas, and then they went and they jumped on some rats, and then it spread to all the other rodents. But the original outbreak of that was in the Middle East. So you might say to me, well, Chris, how did all of that outbreak in the Middle East get to Europe? Well, I'm just the man to tell you, don't you know? The Crusaders were coming back from the Crusades, all the holy wars that they were fighting over there. They fought for a few hundred years, and they got Jerusalem back, which they called the Holy Land. They got it back for about 49 of those years, but it was really hard to keep. And so in the end, they lost it back to the Turkish Muslims. So they didn't really accomplish too much, except, they wiped out their treasure and they wiped out a good portion of their men. But, sacrifices have to be made in the name of the Lord. We all know that. So they came back here, and about, as I say, 33%, about 1/3 of all of Europe was decimated by this bubonic plague. And so, let's see now. I had to make some notes on this one. I hate to do that. I usually don't. I usually talk right off the top of my head, which is why all these things are so lousy. But I gotta do a few things here, just a few points. The church, let's see now, they were really behind the Crusades. They were spurring the Crusaders on, and all the knights and all the peasants and the servants and the squires, they'd all go with the knights because they were indentured servants. But so the clergy was really pushing for that. They push for a lot of things, don't they? So now but what happened? Now these are the important parts. When they came back, they found out that the bubonic plague was killing them all indiscriminately. They were killing kings and royalty and rich people. And, they didn't care if the peasants got killed. I mean, who does? But if the royalty and the rich folks and, the guys at the country club are getting killed, well, now that's not a good thing. We don't like that. So they decided at that point, even though the clergy was behind the Crusades, because when the Crusaders came back and brought this disease, and the church couldn't deliver. I mean, they were going to the church and say, save me, I gave you $10 million. The church says, I will pray for you, son. Yes. And the king said, screw this. So the kings and the moneyed people, they started at that time putting their money into another concern, which was science and medicine. As it was at the time, it wasn't great, but that was one of the starting points, and that's one of the reasons science and medicine got a foothold in Europe, is because the failure of the clergy to do anything for all these people dying, and again, especially the rich ones and the moneyed ones, they were going under 6 feet under just like everybody else. They said, no fair. We paid our money. And, the priest said, well, you don't like it, you can pull up my robe and have at it. So then, let's see now. So the church really shot themselves in the foot with all that, you understand. You know, they started the thing and then they couldn't help anybody. But I also want to just in brief tell you about there was in 1240, which is the 13th century, if you don't know, there was a pope by the name of Gregory Peck. We call this one Gregory Pekka. But he was Gregory the Ninth, and he issued an edict. That means it's an order for you people that, you know, you're eating your peaches out of a little jar. It was an order for all the cats in Europe to be killed. And why would they be killed? Because they had a satanic look on their face. They just had that look. Kind of like I do. Don't I? Don't I? I mean, look at my black shirt, my black leather thing. I look like a hitman or a disciple of Satan. Not the motorcycle club, just a real disciple of Satan. But I'm none of those things. I'm just here on my holy mission to bring knowledge to the world. And that's what I really like. But anyway, let me get back to Gregory the Ninth. He said, kill all of the cats because they look satanic to him. So it was, hey, kitty, 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 bang, with a sledgehammer right on the head. And they killed, you could call it caticide. They killed tons and tons of these cats. But you know what? You know what? A cat is a natural enemy of all of these things like rats and rodents that were bringing this disease back to Europe. The bubonic plague, the Black Death. So not only does the church send the guys out there to get slaughtered and get their asses kicked, when they come back, they made false promises like you're going to be God's people, and they couldn't help save them because these guys accidentally brought the plague back with them. That was their second bonus. If they didn't get killed there, they got killed back here. And then the Pope Gregory the Ninth, he said, let's kill all these cats because they look satanic to me. They got those little faces and those little whiskers. They must be devil-like. So they killed all these cats, and they were the natural enemies of all these rodents. So the third mistake in the series. Now let me see if I articulated anything more on that. I just want to see. So, yeah. So that's it. We sent them out there, which was a dumb thing. They brought disease back, and then they couldn't save them, which was a dumb thing. And then this Pope Gregory the Ninth, he kills all the natural enemies of these rodents that carried this plague. He kills all the cats that he could get his hands on. I don't know, maybe just string them up in his bedroom with a cord, hang them. I don't know. But I guess when it comes to the Lord and religion and popes, for that matter, I believe they all work in exceedingly mysterious ways. Don't you? Oh, I think my ear almost looks like a Vulcan's ear. Maybe I'm a Vulcan. Look at that. Ooh. And a Vulcan, you know, they hang out in Devil Land, too. Look at that Vulcan ear. And that's not planned. It just came out that way with the glasses on. Wow. Maybe something's trying to tell me something I don't know. But anyway, I've had a little fun here, so don't go too crazy with it like I, just escaped from somewhere. I'm just having some fun and pulling your leg. I'd pull more, but you'd probably slap me. But now I'm going to end this one. It went too long, but I'm going to say bye-bye. But that's how the Crusades and the bubonic plague and the slaughter of cats and the righteous church all got together in the 13th and 14th century and just created a mess like you wouldn't believe. But what else could you expect? here I go. My Vulcan here. Ooh.